All right. So most agencies and consultants who are offering growth, in my opinion, are doomed until they understand what I understood in 2021. Okay. This thing that I'm about to cover allowed me to scale a growth offered up to $500,000 in cash collected in a single month. And I'll show you guys kind of like what went on in the next few minutes. Okay. I believe this today even more than I felt it in 2021 because of the following. And maybe this is something that you also have felt. We're experiencing 100 times more competition, right? Everyone is promising the world. And if they can deliver on the big claims that they're promising to the marketplace, they're also offering a guarantee and saying that they'll refund people, right? It doesn't make any sense. It's infinitely harder to charge enough money to afford the beautiful things that life has to offer. Okay, maybe you want to drive a Porsche, maybe you want to live in a penthouse, maybe you want to take your family and your team on trips and villas on during the summer. Like if you're pushing the traditional model, forget about all those things. Okay, you're afraid of scaling as you've come to believe that it's small, that small is better. There is this message going around within agencies and consultants who are pushing old models saying that small is better. That's not the case. That's just a belief that people tell themselves to feel okay staying small, right? You've become a slave to your own business as you can't afford talent. That was me back in 2021. I was not making enough money per client or not collecting enough profit up front to be able to hire people who were smarter than me and more experienced than me. Therefore, I had to do most of the things. I had to be the brain of the business. If you are the decision maker on all decisions in your company, I promise you, that is not a business, okay? And you're going to start hating what you've created for yourself. You're working twice as hard only to remain in the same position. You can't spend much on your client acquisition as you're now losing money when acquiring clients due to the high cost of acquisition, and maybe your pricing structure is broken, okay? If this is you, you're currently experiencing what I call the slavery flywheel, which is here. This is where people are offering commoditized services and offers, okay? Things like Facebook ad, appointment setting, cold email, short form content. And this leads to them charging low ticket prices, okay? But they're forced to charge low ticket prices because the thing they're selling is being sold by 100 other people, okay? So you experience low closing rate because you're only solving one obstacle for your clients, for your market, and you're doing it just like everybody else. And since you're offering low ticket prices, you're offered low ticket, retainers or upfront fees. You can't afford leverage. You can't afford superstar talent. And since you're the only person in your company who was actually smart, well, you actually end up getting bad results or average results to your clients, because it takes a team to deliver great results, guys. Like no matter how great you are, one person can do anything. And this leads to low retention rate. And if you're not retaining the people you acquired on and you weren't profitable on that acquisition, well, now you're having to lose money on the front end and you're also churning clients. Like, are you kidding me? Right? Then this leads to you not being able to acquire, to be able to afford to keep getting more clients. And then you start stressing every time you go to bed. Okay? If you're a beginner, like I was in 2021, then you're probably still in the honeymoon effect, where you're still excited of making 30K per month because you used to make 30K a year at your 9 to 5. That was me. Back in 2021, I was, in this slavery flywheel here, right, working in the basement at my parents' home, and I was making the same amount of money I was making on my job, which was 30K a year. I was making that every month, and I was like, oh wow, I've achieved something great. But for those who've been past this honeymoon effect, you know that running a small business starts feeling like a rat race that is worse than having a job, since it doesn't have a clock in, clock out option. You don't clock in, you don't clock out, you're always dialed in, right? You go to bed with work on your mind. You brush your teeth with work on your mind. You hang out with friends with business on your mind. You watch movies with work on your mind. And you know what I'm talking about if you're one of if you're one of the ones, right? I'm here to tell you though that there is a way out, and it's with this growth creator model, okay, which has a completely different flywheel. This is what, if you've read the book Good to Great, where Adam, or I forget his name, studied some like the greatest companies that have ever been created in the last like century, and he realized that there is something good that goes on, which this you can technically call it like the doom loop, right? That's what he calls it. But he also suggests that every great companies like Amazon, they figure out a flywheel, okay? And I'm not going to go into explaining what flywheels are, but you can read about it if you want. But this is the model that I personally used to go from an overworked agency, and I was successful. I was making $30K a month. I'm not saying that I wasn't successful, but it took me from being overworked and semi-successful to literally becoming a legend for my family and strangers on the internet, right? And this is a model where instead of being commoditized, you're selling infrastructures. You're building and releasing every single variable that keeps your clients from experiencing failure, okay? When you do that, you offer a sophisticated solution, and it allows you to charge as much money as you want. You can start charging 10K for something. You can start charging 30 grand for something. You can charge 50 grand for that same thing, because you start charging based on potential and probability of that potential. You don't charge based on your time. You don't charge based on the cost of your team. You charge based on what you can bring in the business on a yearly basis, the potential of your infrastructure, right? I started selling this. I started charging 10K, 15K for the same thing that people were complaining for paying $1,500 for. That means that I was able to get 10 times more money from the same market because I changed the way that I was selling. Okay, instead of selling, hey, I'll get you more appointments, I'll get you more of this, I was like, hey, I'll come in and build out the thing that will generate you the thing you desire forever, and you won't ever need me again, right? And that allowed me to afford some of the best talent ever. And we get the results we get our clients after I switched from selling retainers to selling build and release infrastructures. It's night and day, right? And that allowed me to get a higher retention rate, and I can afford to get as much attention because I'm literally having like 80% margins. I'm going to show you guys. Let me show you guys right now. So here I was, in 2021, went from 30K a month to, working 50 hours per week because I was the brain of the business, to a year later in 2022, doing $622,000 in December and collecting over $500,000. This was like December, but on Stripe we were able to actually hit 500K in 4 weeks. But we collected 465K in December, and look at the gross profit, right? 465K collected, $288,000 in gross profit. And net profit on cash collected was over $250,000, guys, right? And on revenue, on 622 grand in revenue, I was able to profit with future receivables, $424,000. It's ridiculous, right? It's insane. I've never seen a model like this, and this is why I'm trying to get people to really understand that you don't scale by doing what everybody else is doing. You got to change, okay? So if this is something, like, guys, I did not change. I did not become a superstar. I just understood the following, which is what I'm about to show you, okay? Interestingly enough, what helped me achieve this transformation wasn't becoming better at lead gen, closing over the phone, or any tactical skill that most broke people. And when I say broke, I'm saying if you're not clearing at least $1 million profit every year, that you're still broke. I didn't spend time getting better at like these lower level skills, right? The one thing that changed everything for me was understanding leverage. The people who were making more money than me weren't better at lead gen than me. They were not better sales than me. They were not better marketers than me. Yes, of course, some were. But the difference between 30K a month and 600K a month was not that I became 20 times better at lead gen. It's not that I became 20 times better at closing. It's impossible to become 20 times better at closing. It's impossible, right? So that means that you have to transition into a different game, right? And I realized that, like, oh my God, the only people who are making 300 grand a month, because I looked at people when I was making 30K a month, I was like, how am I ever going to scale this chaos to 10 times more? It was impossible to scale my 30K a month business to 300K. At least I couldn't see the path to scaling it, right? But I realized that there was a way to introduce leverage in your offer. There was a path to introducing leverage in by leveraging an audience. There was a path to introducing leverage in your client acquisition infrastructure. There was a path to having a leveraged fulfillment, right? And I want to show you guys real quick, kind of like some of the stuff that I shared within the challenge, which you guys will get access to when you join the Natural Born Leader. But essentially, I covered the different flywheels and models, right, in the challenge. I explained the difference in an offer that is not leveraged versus a leveraged offer, a pricing that is leveraged, okay? I explained the different flywheels, okay? And I also went in and explained our growth thesis, the importance of owning attention and how it gives you leverage. I gave the content roadmap. I gave the content flywheel. I explained a lot of different things, right? And this is the thing that you guys need to understand. You guys need to get your hands on all of this, because until you understand, this is not about, oh, I got more leads. It's not that. That's not the game. That's not the multiple 7-figure game, 8-figure game, okay? You can leave that for the people who want to keep doing that. But if you want to become better, you're going to need to start playing the same thing, the same game that people are playing at. Being able to go from from 30K a month to 600K a month allowed me to create some of the best memories for my team, myself and my team and my family. Moved into this penthouse. We go in summer, bought a Rolex to my my father figure, and we take trips everywhere. We rent villas. We spend 10K a day on villas. I bring my team. Everybody on my team comes over. We bring clients over, and this is impossible if you're still making 30K a month. Okay, 30K a month does not even cover 2 days of being in Spain with 22 people renting a villa like this one. Okay, and this is just one of 3. But anyway, I don't want to bore you guys, but I just wanted to show you guys the difference between making okay money and becoming like the person that you're meant to become. Okay. So I spent over 12 hours with hundreds of growth agencies and consultants explaining how they can go through this transformation and accessing more leverage from this new model. I'm not trying to teach you how to get better at lead gen. I'm not trying to teach you how to set better appointments, even though those are important. It's not as important as understanding how to introduce leverage in your business. Okay? So I went 5 days, origin story. I kind of like went deep. I explained our 500K a month growth creator model and the offer. 2 hours. I went through that. Over almost 300 people stayed the whole 2 hours. So that means it's super good. Day 2, we went over how to create an audience. In case you guys have not noticed, even the smartest marketers are now trying to focus on creating an audience over just spending money. Look at Hormozy. He went from building a $40 million a year enterprise or $40 million a year, gym launch. And by the way, this is stuff that I covered in the flywheel. I essentially explained something that is super good if you guys ever get to get your hands on this. I explained how everybody here, they, acquired great skills, got leveraged, right? And had a small audience, and they scaled to 100K a month, to $4 million a month. But the thing that changed the game for them was when they focused on acquiring even a bigger audience and went into a more leveraged vehicle, right? Hormozy went from the most I think he's ever made, it was $4 million a month, $1 million a week, to now he owns equity in 13 companies, I think right now, that does over $200 million a year, right? We can look at Iman. The most he's ever done. Like, Iman is not necessarily a better e-commerce agency owner than most people running e-commerce agencies, but he understood that there was a different game to play. He realized that, like, oh, this is the baby game I'm playing right now. And now he's blowing up 3 million subs. And now if he ever makes less than multiple 8 figures a year, it's because he chooses to. We can look at The Rock. He went, multiple decades making tens of millions of dollars a year to now making to be worth 300 mil after 2 decades of work, to in 2 years to go from 300 mil to being worth $1 billion with just a better leverage vehicle, a better vehicle, and a bigger audience. Anyway, this is the stuff I talked about in the challenge, so I don't want to kind of like go over, but you guys get access to this when you guys join the Natural Born Leader. And I also went over the 500K a month acquisition funnel breakdown, the growth creator fulfillment, because you need to be able to fulfill and retain your clients if you want to scale. And also spent 4 hours, almost 4 hours and 53 minutes with designing an action plan and answering questions. 5 hours, guys, right? If you're someone who wants to be an above average individual, a legend in your field, because you know you deserve it, then I'd like to welcome you to the Growth Creator Model and the Natural Born Leader community. Now, what is NBL? So NBL is essentially something that I've created. I've created a community where after realizing that keeping all my insights and learnings on YouTube for free is actually doing a disservice to most people, because free content on YouTube leads to a lot of smart people but broke founders due to the lack of commitment. Okay, in case you have never heard me say this, but growth comes from 2 things: your rate of learning, how fast you're learning, and how fast you're changing. A lot of people keep consuming 10 hours of content on YouTube and thinking that they're smart, but they never take action. Okay, so learning isn't the bottleneck anymore. Changing and starting new behaviors is the main issue keeping most people from starting and scaling a profitable business. Right? Creating this community and putting a price to it will create more commitment to the members buying access to them, right? And it will lead to faster change in behaviors. And I'm really excited for that. We just had a girl who's been pushing a pay for performance deal in the coaching space. And we got her, she joined the challenge, started leveraging the build and release offer. And she was struggling to sell a performance offer to selling a 12K upfront plus 15% deal. And she closed her first client faster than, she never got a client on her paper performance. So that's just to show you guys how charging for something because she paid for it, she now was able to take action and implement on the thing I covered. Okay. So you'll also access systems and talent that will allow you to move faster, as you'll have less decisions to make. Everything will be laid out for you. And for me personally, the selfish reasons why I want to create this community is because I want to segment the audiences that want to be entertained. I'll keep pushing out YouTube content, but I also want to have people who I can partner with, people who we can build great enterprise value with. Okay, my goal every year is to partner with 100 growth agencies and consultants who want to go from maybe making 10K, 30K, 50K a month to scaling past $500,000 a month or more every month. I will leverage this community as a platform to dump the most effective ways and insights of scaling past 10 to 50K a month. The community allows us to lower the barrier of entry for you if you want to, experience and access what we do. Right? Normally, you would have to spend over 5 figures to be able to work with us, but this will be the first time that people get to access some of our insights in our process. The community will provide us with a pool of leaders and founders that we can partner with in the next 5 to 10 years and create a portfolio of 100 growth creating firms generating 100 million to over half a billion every year in revenue. Okay. Now, how will it work? Well, it's pretty simple. Once a month, we will be dropping new material in the community with the purpose of allowing you to move faster when it comes to scaling. The first thing you're going to get access, of course, is the business model breakdown of the growth creator model. Okay. So we're doing an intro, which is essentially this. You get access to it. And then we'll also be doing offer breakdowns. So I'm going to be releasing some of the best offers that are working with our partners right now. I'm going to be sharing acquisition funnel breakdowns. I'm going to be sharing, releasing more programs, more systems. And of course, some programs will have a fee, but members of NBL will get a 40 to 60% discount, which is super exciting. The subscription fee is really simple. It's just $49 a week. Okay. So just $49 a week. You get billed a week. You can cancel whenever you want, right? But we haven't had many people cancel because we're releasing a lot of new material, so it's really good. And then you get one weekly Q&A, which will be on Sunday right now. Members of the community will have exclusive access to our pool of trained setters and a discount if they want placement. So this is really sick because we've built a community of like over 1,000 trained setters, and we train 150 every week. So if you ever want setters, VAs to come and do outreach for you, you can only access them in this Natural Born Leader community. You also, members of clientacquisition.io will be assigned to handle all questions in the community. So you will get my team answering as well as me, of course. And there is also a bonus, which is the $3,000 trained appointment setter program that we used to actually sell, but now we're giving it as a kind of like a bonus, a welcome gift to the community. So not only do you get the intro to the Natural Born to the Growth Creator model on how we scale to 600K per month, but you also get a trained appointment setter program if you're someone who's struggling with your appointment setting and you need to kind of like delegate that to a $3 an hour VA. Okay. Now the sign up process is really simple. Click the link below, pay the $49 a week, the first $49 a week, and then fill out onboarding form and share your biggest bottleneck, access Discord community, introduce yourself in the welcome channel, and you will access also the Circle portal and join your first weekly call, which will most likely be with me. So really excited for this. I think this is going to be a game changer. Guys, when you join, you guys will get access to this 170 pages of me breaking down everything from around the Growth Creator model. And I also shared some offers too, right? So this is not just me kind of like rambling on about my insights, but it's also like I broke down Gym Launch model, how they were able to scale to $1.6 million a month in recurring revenue. It's here. And I also shared a lot of different stuff. Okay, so I hope you guys will find this beneficial. And yeah, just please click the link below and speak soon. Bye-bye.